What's up, everybody? How we doing? It's your boy Bosco here with Jake and Bake live. We're here with the Stray J podcast. Hope y'all have had a... What was that? One more time.
I said, can you not, is my mic fucked up?
No, I had music blasting.
I couldn't hear the music play.
All good. Don't worry.
I was just saying, noticeably absent from the Stray J podcast. Potts, he's not with us tonight. He did text us about a half hour ago, or about maybe an hour ago, and was like, yeah, I'm ready to go, and just didn't show up. So,
You know,
good luck.
he's
Good luck before week one.
yeah, we're not full strength, but we're at like 99% strength still, so it's
That's facts. Potts is worthless. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, I gotta shout out Potts. I appreciate you guys for trying to get things going with all the boys at your draftaganza.
Yeah.
He really did try to get people to talk fantasy, but y'all clearly were quite having a good time.
We might have been occupied. We tried really hard. It was gonna work out. My computer was like dying, and then it wasn't dying, and then Discord was like fucked up, and then it wasn't fucked up, and then just we started a rage cage game, and then pong tournament, and then Jason lost a whole lot of money, and then he tried to win it back, and he lost a whole lot of more money, and then he tried to win it back again, and then he lost a lot more money. So like it was just a whole big to do. So I was hopeful that we could get some good drunk episode footage or content in, but alas, we failed.
Hey, I had a great time. It was funny seeing y'all. It was cool to talk to some of the guys I haven't actually talked to and like see their face.
I know TJ was a big activity. He had a lot of activity going with that.
Yeah, he was again. Potts definitely did try to get some people. TJ was there. Met Jason. Jason was talking some hot shit about our matchup this coming week.
God.
And it's
Well, why don't we start with? Well, I guess I could intro what we're gonna do. We're gonna just basically take everybody through like matchups. Bosco and I'll probably go for some key players, probably one or two on each team. Keep it a little tight, and then we'll kind of just give our predictions, and maybe we can make it into a fun little game, like see who is right most of the year, like most times out of the year, or something like that, or
I like that.
make a little prop bet of some sort between the three of us at Pots. We're also going to be trying to figure out like what we're going to do for some not necessarily being only football content. Maybe we figure out some fun little gimmicks that we do weekly so that we can keep the engagement high and not just be a boring fantasy podcast like everyone else. So with your segue right there saying how Jason was talking some hot shit, you want to jump into your matchup?
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, real quick, talking about how Jason was talking some hot shit. You guys did draft, so tell me, how did that redraft draft go? Because
well, so I'm just gonna close your eyes. We're gonna do a little thought experiment here. I want you to put yourself in the position of drafting a super flex team, right?
Yeah.
It's an auction. Are you familiar with auction draft?
Oh, you guys do auction? That's sick.
We do an auction draft. So everybody in here, I'm assuming, knows what an auction draft is, since majority of us are part of the team. But long story short, or part of that league. But long story short, you have $200 budget, and you put a player up one at a time, and you auction off like best highest bidder wins. And once that player goes to the highest bidder, that's when the next player can go. So it's very long. It took us like 3 hours, but it's really, really fun. And it requires some strategy, probably the most strategy in terms of like drafting a fantasy team. You have to have a plan going in. So thought experiment, Bosco, work with me here. If you are in a Superflex league, in an auction draft, do you think it is a good idea to not spend your money on a quarterback? Yes or no?
No, that sounds like a bad idea to not spend your money on a quarterback.
Right. Okay. So now I would say most people get that. But given the landscape of the league, if you had to pick two starting quarterbacks that you'd be like, oh, did I really end with this guy? I want you to name I want you to name the 5 worst starting quarterbacks that you think you could go into week 1 with.
Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young. I was gonna say Geno Smith, but I feel like Geno Smith could actually be like all right. Daniel Jones. I don't know. He's got rushing upside.
So Jason's quarterback started off pretty okay with Trevor Lawrence.
He's a big T-Law guy.
I'm personally not high on Trevor Lawrence, as we knew from earlier episodes, but yeah, his second quarterback is Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put Daniel Jones at like the top of that list because at least he could give you some rushing. But
well, there's a guy you undoubtedly forgot about because this guy is on his bench. It's Will Levis. Yeah. So.
No. I actually like Will Levis a lot.
Well, you're an idiot too. But Jason's team's quarterbacks are Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, and Will Levis. Now that wouldn't be so bad if Jason didn't budget properly.
I was gonna say, did he at least make it up with like spending up on like a Christian McCaffrey and like a Tyreek Hill?
He's got Bijan, but
it's not bad.
The key is that Jason passed on a lot of other quarterbacks. Like he stopped bidding when guys like Jared Goff went, when guys like Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, all these guys, he just really go in for, which was very confusing. He didn't have a quarterback for the longest time. His team is not like the worst thing ever, but he thinks he got to steal with Chris Olave. And I kind of want to point out that you named Chris Olave's quarterback as one of the worst quarterbacks to have in fantasy.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, you as a wide receiver would need a decent quarterback to get you the football to be productive in fantasy football. Is that right?
In most cases, yeah. Right? Yeah, most cases, most certainly.
Yeah, so would you have rather spent $26 on Chris Olave or $24 on Devontae Adams?
26 on Olave, honestly. I'm not in on Adams. Yeah.
Wow, you are. All right, well, this is turning out to not go the way I wanted. But no, Jason's team isn't really all that bad. I think overall it's pretty much agreed upon that Dan Citardi's team is the best on paper.
Oh.
The weird thing that he did is he's starting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so I don't think that's going to last all that often.
That's tough.
Or all that well. His next wide receiver is like Cortland Sutton, and Christian Watson, so like But overall, usually in this league, it's pretty even at the start. It'll kind of correct itself. I will say, surprisingly, TJ did well. He has a pretty good team, and I think the actual worst team is the Buffalo Packers. They got their guy Josh Allen, and they also got their guy Khalil Shakir, and they got their guy Dalton Kincaid.
Good stack.
I
feel like with auction it's tough because there's you said it's one of the tougher and more strategic drafting styles because you got to budget yourself, you got to kind of know your league, who's going to spend up, you got to make sure no one's getting too good of a value, so maybe you try and push the price on some people and then you end up getting fucked and stuck with them.
That is exactly the case.
Got to kind of stars and stripes it.
In years past, I've definitely been of the mindset where you go out, you spend big on your big name guys, you do your hero. It's the most equivalent you can get to hero RB strats.
Yeah.
The biggest thing in this league is we love trades. You saw it in the Dynasty draft. There's trades everywhere. Yeah. But in this redraft league, there's always trades. And surprisingly, we haven't made a trade yet. But
it's only been a few days. Week hasn't even started yet.
Before in years past, we've had dozens of trades before the league starts. I will say that I think a lot of people are getting better at knowing who's going to go for who and actually targeting guys. I think this is my 4th or 5th year doing this. In previous seasons, I've just gotten people that I could get for value and then been I don't like this guy, so I'm going to trade him. In the more recent seasons, I've been I want this person. I'm going to budget for this person, and I'm going to go no higher than this amount of money to get this person. And then I've been pretty happy with my teams on draft day. So I think that's getting more and more common, so that lowers the trades. But once the season starts, trades will be going. I also want to shout out Rowan, team name ever. He's got Jordan Love, he's got Zamir White, and he's got Malik Neighbors. And his team is We Love White Neighbors. So I just want to...
That's great.
Absolutely fantastic name. No. Also, Jason's worst name by far. Bijan Mustard. Not even gonna dignify it.
It's like
But
that's
we can
some
get to our league.
fucking basic white bitch with her Starbucks latte name.
Oh, also, I do have a little bone to pick with Matt. Bro, not making me first pick in wiffle ball is a tragedy on your brain. I don't know what you were thinking, but Max's welt, which I don't know if the camera can see, but I'm going to show it anyway.
Dude, this shit is crazy.
This is from a pitch, Matt.
A
You could have had
wiffle
it.
ball pitch. That's insane, dude.
So
I didn't
Matt's
even
stupid.
think wiffle balls like from point blank could do that type of damage.
To be fair, it was a blitz ball, but like
The fuck is a blitz ball? That's like some.
it's solid. It's not. It doesn't
Oh,
have
okay.
the circle like the
Yeah.
slots or anything like that. But I digress.
Still like it's a plastic ball. That's still crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. So Matt's an idiot. Jason, as always, sorry for the stray. And Rowan, best name in our redraft. And we'll keep everyone posted about the redraft in here. Mostly just keep you posted, Bosco.
Yeah.
About the status of that league. But I think it's going to be fun. I'm like I said, I'm happy with my team. I think a lot of people are happy with their team. Jason is trying to pawn off Daniel Jones a lot, and he's not doing a good job. He wanted me to ship him Jared Goff for Jones, and I was like, hell no, I'm not taking ACL boy and concussion boy.
Bro,
And
I low-key think the Lions could. I think the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. I think they could take it.
That's why I have Jared Goff and Sam Laporta.
They got a squad this year. But with that said, let's get to the matchups. We'll just take a look at all the matchups here. We've got a few like kind of close ones right now. Dan and Aaron are projected basically the same amount of points. I think Matt and TJ's is going to be pretty close. You and Potts are pretty close.
Oh, South Swift, same club. That's pretty funny because they have Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's great.
That's pretty good.
CD's, Dax, and Isaac's mom.
Yeah. Jason's last name is Isaacs, just FYI.
Okay.
Sorry for the straight jet.
Got you. That's fucking. Oh, jeez. It doesn't stop.
And also, we used Isaacs because we have Isaac Garendo. So we got his name and also Jason's last name. So
there you go. But yeah, I think those are kind of the big matchups. Ruin's team, not really anything for Cheech to worry about. Mocan's team, not really anything for Max to worry about. So like the kind of like those are like, you know, actual good teams going up against each other.
Let's start with those shitty games.
Yeah. So first up,
why don't you keep a note and keep track of who you and I pick, and we'll get Louis' picks for each matchup, and we'll keep a record of like who did what, who got what right.
Got you. Yeah. All right. So let's see. First up, we got Cheech and Rohin. This is going to be pretty standard here.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be pretty slanted. I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to get really stuffed. Also, Rowan is starting Jamal Williams.
I mean, Rowan doesn't have running backs, right? He kind of like that's why that Zeke pick kind of like threw me off because he's clearly going for like a rebuild or
dynasty,
just like
dynasty.
His running backs are like Eric Gray, Hill, Justice Hill, Kenny Gainwell. Which I didn't even realize he was still on a team. Like
I think there's a reasonable chance. Obviously, looking at his team right this minute, there is a reasonable chance that he goes over, even with buys. I mean, his wide receivers are strong, but he actually has no running backs. So, like, I think this is an easy win for Joey and Mikey. There's nothing else to say. Like, I don't even think there's an important matchup for Joey and Mikey. I think they will just win, period.
Yeah, it's pretty much anyone playing him this year is going to be like just kind of a slot in a free win right there.
Yeah. Also, one thing I will call out with Joey and Mikey, they're taking advantage of the tight end premium, and they're starting Freiermuth and Laporta, and that is a smart move. Having doubled up on that kind of a setup, it could be a really smart move. If there's ever a time to try out something new like that, it's definitely going to be against a team like Rowan's. So
I will say they don't really have many other options. I mean, like they've got Quentin Johnson, Treylon Brooks, Alex Pierce, Dotson. Like, they have no bench depth right now, so they kind of have to play two tight ends.
Yeah, I mean they drafted with that in mind clearly, but yeah, I mean this is easy. Bato, do you have any key input here? But I mean, there's
Cheech all the way. Yeah. And then we've got Max and Mo.
You want to go to Max? Yeah.
And again, I mean, this is easy Max. just easy max. I mean, sure, you've got, Jacobs and St. Brown and Waddle, McBride, Kittle. Like he's got players, but he needs to put Levis in. He needs to put Watson in for like, I guess he's got to move Eckler up to where Chubb's at and then put Watson in his flex, Levis in. Like he could have a surprise, put up some points, but I think we all agree Max just has a really good team with Breece Hall, Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Higgins, Cooper, Njoku, Derrick Henry, James Conner, Cousins, and Burrow. Like that's a scary lineup.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be playing against that.
That's a really scary lineup.
He's also the highest projected score this week.
I also want to point out that on Max's bench, he's got Blake Corum, who, because Sean McVay is a douchebag and hates everybody, will probably end up being the number one guy in Los Angeles this year. For no reason
I don't
whatsoever.
believe that at all. I think people are overreacting.
I think Sean McVay is the worst person in the entire world, worse than Hitler. Period.
Jesus Christ.
Period. I hope Sean McVay. I hate him. I hate him.
Where's the beef with Sean McVay coming from?
3 years ago, the Rams played the Jets at MetLife when the Jets were 0-14, and the Rams lost to the Jets. And in that game, the Jets fumbled their way to picking number 2 overall instead of number 1 overall. And I remind you, the pick that went first overall in that draft was Trevor Lawrence, and the second overall pick was Zach Wilson. So fuck Sean McVay, fuck the Rams, and fuck everything about that stupid little ginger man.
Oh, Jet's gonna jet. I feel that pain as a Giants fan. Like, we just probably won't ever have like an early enough pick to get a quarterback. It could have been this year. We could have got Drake May, but New England was not willing to trade with us, and we're just gonna be in like purgatory forever. Like it feels like, unless we somehow get a steal on like a veteran QB at some point. Like it's bad news.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much to say. Max all the way. So Mark me down for Mikey Joey, mark me down for Max.
Yes, sir. We'll jump over to me and Jason's matchup. Now this one, like,
hold on, I have to find you guys. Okay, I found you.
It technically could be close. We'll see if Chase actually plays week 1. He's got some upside guys with like ETN and George Pickens who could just like go off, but Brock Bowers starting off rip. We'll have to see how good a rookie tight end can be with Minshew throwing him the ball. Looking at his bench, you can maybe throw in like Dowdle or Brian Robinson over.
I like that he has Kadarius Toney on his team. That's a big one.
Bro, R.I.P. Toney. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in myself winning this one. Again, I think I've also got some question marks as starting, Odunze and Spears. I'm not like saying I've got the best team ever here, but I like my matchups. I'm excited. I've got 3 players in tomorrow's game. It's gonna be hype. I'm super fucking excited for that. I get like an early start to the week, see how my team's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow, I think the Ravens are going to win. I think it's at KC, right?
Yeah.
I think that the Ravens have been, circle on the Chiefs since they lost last year. I don't think the Ravens are a better team than the Chiefs, but last year the Chiefs got beat at home by the Lions. The Ravens are always a better regular season team than they are a playoff team as of late in the Lamar Jackson era, and error was not a Freudian slip. I mean Lamar Jackson is an error as a QB. And I just think like Lamar is going to go off. He's not going to have diarrhea. I think that the Chiefs are not going to have like a Super Bowl hangover necessarily, but like they're not going to be like urgent necessarily either. And I think your team is going to be. I think you're just going to have a hot start with Lamar. I like Pacheco this year. I think that Jason has some good matchups on his side, and I do agree that your downfall, if you are to lose, is going to be Odunze just not being on the same page as Caleb Williams week 1.
Yeah.
2 rookies. He's a third or maybe even fourth option in the offense at the moment. I think he will become the second option by year's end, but just not yet. I do like his projection for the entire year though, but I do think that Zay Flowers is actually going to have a big game.
I was just realizing, I was like, man, if Zay Flowers has a big game, Lamar has a big game, so.
Oh yeah,
he kind of limits me a little bit, I guess.
So personally not a fan of Mark Andrews on your team. As a known Raven / Lamar Jackson / Mark Andrews hater, I don't believe in them. And so for that reason, I'm going to pick Jason's team, even though I don't necessarily think that he'll win. I just can't pick Ravens. So
That's crazy. All right, well, we finally
no,
got one difference
in all
here.
seriousness, though, I do think Chase plays. I think ETN's going to have a big game, and also I think Lawrence will have a big game against Miami. I think that's just going to be a high scoring affair. So I think at the end of the day, his top guys are going to outperform your top guys, even though you might have a better like consistency across your team.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel like I've got a good floor. My upside's going to have to come from like a DK touchdown, AJ Brown touchdowns, like a
Yes,
big
I
Andrews
also
game.
I do think Odunze, Spears, and I think Deontay Johnson are all going to underperform for you.
Oh, I think Deontay Johnson's going to get like 20 receptions. I think he's just going to be better than Thielen was last year, and Thielen was like the wide receiver one.
Nope. I think Bryce Young is going to be stinky week 1. I think eventually, yes, but stinky week 1. And also, New Orleans defense notoriously really obnoxious to the Panthers.
That's fair. Yeah, New Orleans has a decent defense. But yeah, I've this on paper, it's got me projected to win by 11 points. I think it could be a little bit closer,
yeah.
But yeah, obviously I'm taking myself here. I don't think it's gonna be.
No, I'm gonna take Jason. I've been shitting on Jason a lot so far, and I'll take the loss in this one if it means that I support my boy Jason.
Feel that.
Not sorry for that, Stray Jay.
All right, let's go to the next scoring one. Is gonna be Matt and TJ. So this is pretty close.
A good game.
Right now, TJ's projected just a little bit more. But Matt, oh my God, I did not realize he's starting Khalil Herbert as his running back too. And does he have? He really doesn't have a better option there.
Maybe Trey Benson, but like not yet.
Yeah, I mean, I like Herbert a lot more than projections have him, and then like on where the public consensus have him. I think Herbert and Swift are going to be more of a 1-2 punch than people have been thinking.
Well, so the biggest thing about Herbert and Swift is new. Herbert knows the system.
Yeah, Swift could like easily break off like a big play, but I think Herbert's going to be the goal line guy. I think he's going to be more consistent there, especially in like pass protection. He's better than Swift.
Yeah, I think TJ is making I don't know if he's making a mistake. I just don't like Daniel Jones. I don't know if I'd start Daniel Jones against Minnesota.
It's Jones or Darnold.
I mean, Darnold is playing with the best wide receiver in football and a bad defense. So, like, feels like Sam Darnold's poised to do better.
Yeah, that's really like I might go Jones just for the rushing upside because Minnesota's defense is absolute ass this year apparently as well. And I feel like may as well go for someone that could like put up 40, like 50 yards rushing, maybe even like rushing a touchdown. But yeah, Darnold does have Justin Jefferson that he's throwing to, and he's got Aaron Jones to throw to.
TJ has some good receiving upside, and his running backs are like fine. He's got Kyron.
Oh, I love his running backs. Mostert, Ford, and Kyron. Those are great running backs.
Yeah, like Mostert, I don't know if he's going to do the same thing as last year, but obviously Ford is a good pick. It's just like TJ's quarterbacks are a lot weaker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of his team is a lot stronger.
I'll say he has some like tough matchups though, for sure. Like Ford against Dallas, Reed against Philly, Wilson against San Francisco, Williams against Detroit. Like those are tough matchups. So while I'm leaning him to take the win,
a tough one.
he could definitely have some rougher goes with some of his players.
I would say for Matt, the most important player is JSN. JSN has every chance to go off, get like 2 touchdowns, like start the year hot. But that also bodes for like DK Metcalf. Like I don't know who Gino is going to go to. So I think I'm going to take EJ in this one.
That is the way that I'm leaning as well. I think just like from a pure player basis, he's got the better players.
I also think that, like I said, I think Baltimore is going to come out hungry. I don't know if Pat Mahomes lights it up. He's going to do great. Like he's going to do just fine, but lights it up as in like 28 plus points.
Yeah, I think that projection of 20 is like fine for him.
Yeah, I think he'll hit it. Like
yeah. I am expecting the first game of the year. It could. I'm honestly a little worried that it's actually going to be a little more sluggish than it should be.
Yeah, like
this should be
run the football. Like
this should be a high scoring game. But there's like a chance it's the first game of the year. They're going to be playing. I don't know, maybe not a little safer, but just like not
I
in
can see a
midseason form,
world.
you know?
I can definitely see a world where the final score of tomorrow night's game is 17-14, and like one player on the Ravens has 2 touchdowns, or
Yeah.
like they're mostly rushing touchdowns, or there's like 3 field goals and a touchdown, like
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say like 18, 21, 24, 19, like
Yeah,
20, something
yeah,
like that, like a lower scoring game than we're expecting. Or
I
they could just
agree.
go off. They could be like, we're fucking
Yeah,
sending
right. They
it
could be
week
like
one.
that
This is
that
the
one
highlight.
game
Yeah.
Rams versus Chiefs is 54-51.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be either or there. So I think there's definitely a lot of variance in this matchup. But yeah, I'm also taking TJ. All right, let's swing it over to. We'll save you guys for last. Save best for last here. We'll go over
Okay.
to Dan and Aaron, which is on paper the closest
Oh,
matchup here. They are
wait, I
projected
gotta find it.
137.6 and 137.73.
This is a good matchup.
I will say, right now, Aaron needs to move Gus Edwards where Coleman is, and then put Derek Carr or Bryce Young in. Like you gotta start a quarterback because they're just like, even though Derek Carr sucks, like he's playing Carolina, or even Bryce Young and Derek Carr both kind of suck. But like you gotta just get a quarterback in there. And honestly, I don't know about Coleman week 1. That's a little too rich for my blood. So you do that.
Well, yeah, he'd be relying on McConkey and Coleman week 1.
Yeah, exactly. That's
But
like.
I don't agree with you. I kind of like the play. It's week 1. You could do something fancy, and let's not forget he's got Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley, and Kelsey with a tight end premium. It is really, really. That's a strong, powerful 4.
That is really real strong. I'm worried about Ayuk. Well, first off, like again, matchups are right, but I am worried about Ayuk not having like been practicing for a while. Worried about Hopkins being 100% with Ridley there. Again, I just wouldn't play Coleman. I feel you gotta play one of him and McConkey. I'm leaning McConkey. I wouldn't play
I agree with that.
Coleman. I just don't think he's gonna be ready yet.
I mean,
Heck,
it's hard for me to say that Aaron is gonna lose this game. I think I'm gonna go Aaron, even though I like Dan's receivers better. I just think the running backs on Aaron's team are so strong, and the tight end premium Ferguson compared to Kelsey. I think Aaron takes it.
I think, at first I was looking at him like, yeah, I think Aaron, but I think I'm actually going to go with Dan. I mean, I think Buffalo's defense is ass. I think, like, Walker's going to have a huge game. Jefferson could have a huge game. I love Devonta Smith. I love Terry McLaurin. Like, Aaron Jones could have a big game. I don't love that he's got Jefferson and Jones, but yeah. Tua always starts super hot. I think this man could easily have, like, a huge week 1. I don't think I would make any changes up on his team. If Aaron adjusts his lineup a little bit, maybe it would push me towards Aaron, but I think I'm going Dan.
Fair enough. We disagree again.
Yeah, I feel like Dan has
No, I think these two teams plus Max's team make up the top of our league for a win this season.
Yeah, no, I really do like their teams. And if he starts Derek Carr and Khalil Shakir over Coleman and McConkey, that would probably push me more towards Aaron. But if he doesn't make those changes, I'm leaning Dan in this matchup.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think it matters. I think Aaron. I think Aaron's gonna really step up. I think he's gonna get his guys to play for him.
He's gonna give them the pregame speech.
Give him a little
get him juiced. Get him a little pumped.
Give him a good little pep talk. Yeah. Dan's also a fucking loser. Fuck you, Dan. Sorry for the stress.
All right, and now finally, you and Potts. It's a shame Potts isn't here to talk about it, but now
he definitely fell asleep.
You got a heavy
everybody
projection.
Sound off in the comments how much of a bitch you think Potts is for sleeping through week 1 pod. Yeah, so I would love to hear your thoughts on the matchup.
Yeah, I'm going your team. I mean, like, I don't love that Addison's been injured. Worthy is boom bust. I love Cup. I think Debo will be great. I don't love that he's starting Swift and DJ Moore. I'm not a Rodgers guy. I mean, he'll be fine, but whatever.
Whoa, hey, buddy. Whoa. Move.
Fucking
who do you think's going to win?
I definitely think you take it this week. You're only kind of like iffy player here. I'm not a big Adams guy, but he's going to get a ton of targets. Like, that's just my personal take. I think he'll be fine. Singletary's the only guy that you're really like worried about. And against Minnesota, anything can happen.
I don't want to start Singletary, but like, I don't really have many other people to start.
I think you could throw Sutton in there. I think Sutton will do better than.
I could.
Yeah.
I just don't know what Bo Nix looks like.
Either way that you go there, I think you take it pretty handedly.
I mean, I agree. I like my team. I think we get blown out by Hurts. I don't know if Jordan Love is going to be ready to go week 1.
I think that's going to be a tough game because they're playing in fucking Brazil and none of the players
Oh, that's true.
seemingly want to
I forgot
play
about
there.
that.
Like,
I
there's
forgot
been
about
so
that.
many reports about, like,
Good
I'm
job.
not bringing my family. Like, I don't want to play this game.
Yeah,
It's
that's fair, but that
ridiculous.
goes both ways.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I mean, Philly's defense is stronger than Green Bay's defense,
Mhm.
at least on paper. I mean, my running backs are definitely better in terms of matchups. Having Jonathan Taylor against Houston and Devon Achane against Jacksonville compared to Robinson versus Pitt and Swift versus Tennessee. Like, Pittsburgh and Tennessee are stingy defenses, especially
Yeah.
against the run. And Houston and Jacksonville are not, because they're high powered offenses, so they don't really care if you score. So that bodes well for me. I mean, I think my biggest impact player is going to be Evan Ingram. Tight end premium with Trevor Lawrence. He was getting, last 8 weeks of the season, he was above 8 targets every single game, and he brought in like a majority of those targets. It's 1.5 PPR for tight ends. Dalton Schultz is against me, and there's simply too many mouths to feed in Houston for him to be a factor, in my opinion. He needs a touchdown. He'll get like 5 targets in a game, I think, and then need the touchdown to be viable. Whereas Ingram will probably get goal line looks pretty consistently and will get targets downfield every single drive. So I think Ingram is going to be the biggest factor for my team. Moo's making an appearance. Moo, who do you think is going to win? He said me. So yeah, I mean, at this point, it's up to me and Rob to start Sutton over Singletary, but I don't know if that even really matters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also just definitely biased. You got a lot of players I like: Achan, Taylor, Lamb, Evans, Ingram, Dak. Like, I just like your team more, and so that's the way I'm going. I think you have a great combo of like floor and upside between, like, Taylor's gonna give you a great floor. Achan could have like a 30-point game.
Right.
Lamb and
And
Adams are
Achane, it
going to
would
give
be
you a good
great.
floor.
Achane
Evans
was
could catch a few touchdowns. Like, Mixon and Ingram are going to give you like a great floor. Again, like, you got the CD Dak stack. Like, it's just money in the bank.
People also forget HN, big pots guy. So HN revenge game for not drafting him.
There we go. He's going to bring the pain.
He's gonna bring the pain for sure. Last year, HM was Potts's like big. I'm gonna get this guy and stash him on my team for when he goes off, and he did.
He did.
So big revenge game for Potts not drafting him again.
All right. Well, there you go. That's all the matchups there.
All right, so let's run through who picked who.
Got you. So we both picked Cheech. We both picked Max.
Yeah.
I picked myself. You picked Jason. We
Yeah,
both
fuck
picked
you,
TJ.
Bosco.
We both picked you, and then I picked Dan. You picked Aaron. So it's gonna be.
All right. So,
Yeah, we got two different. We'll have to get Potts input, and obviously you guys,
For
when you
sure.
hear this, send us your predictions. Who you think is gonna take each game?
No, wait a minute. Are we letting everybody get in on this?
May as well, right?
They're all just gonna pick themselves.
Well, I mean, look, there's two gimmies, right? Cheech and Max. Those are gimme wins. I think
Those are the gimmies.
all the other ones are pretty up in the air, right? It really could go either way for some of them, the majority of them.
That's fair.
But let us know.
Yeah,
let us
sound off in
know
the
still.
comments. Who do you guys like?
Who you guys
Other
like?
than-
I'm just so excited for fucking week 1, man. Like, all the projecting,
it's gonna
all
be
the
fun.
like, this is what I think's gonna happen. This is what we think's gonna happen. It's just good. We're gonna know. We're finally gonna know what's what. We're gonna know who are the players that you should have been drafting. Who should you have faded? Fucking
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just I'm so fucking excited for tomorrow. I cannot wait.
I can't wait for everybody to be so dumb about Devontae Adams.
I mean, I'm glad that Minshew's starting. I don't think I've maybe drafted Adams like in one best ball league or something.
It's unbelievable how much disrespect he's getting. He is still so good.
We'll see. I
Yes,
mean,
his
he
team's
was
dead.
fine.
He was a top 10 wide receiver. He was wide receiver 10 last year.
And look,
And
if he
he
had
had-
someone real throwing him the ball, and like, I love
He had
Minshew,
AOC.
but like,
he literally had a politician throwing him the ball.
and he might have AOC throwing him the ball at some point again this season.
That's fine. He was wide receiver 10. If I drafted wide receiver 10 to be my number 2 wide receiver, potentially even number 3, give me the crown now. but cut it in half because Robert also needs it.
I feel you. You each get half a crown.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's the matchups. That'll do it here. Quick life update right now. I am going to be starting at the end of September my training for a sanitation worker for DSNY. So
We love that.
Hopefully
Clean guy Bosco.
Yeah, clean guy Bosco over here. That's why I just got the clean cut and shave here. Looking nice for y'all.
I can't even see it. It's gonna be completely new to me visually when the pod drops.
Yeah, it's gonna be full surprise for everyone. But yeah, so we're gonna do our best to get you guys episode a week here. Just kind of same shit, going over the matchups, going over any trades and shit. We'll try and add more goofy stuff. Trying to keep it quick and brief right now so we can get this out to you guys ASAP because it is Wednesday night, quite late Wednesday night. But yeah, once that starts at the end of September, it might be a little more choppy. Might not actually be able to get the EPs out by Thursday, but we'll do our best, get them to you guys as ASAP. As all of my schedule is going to be all over the fucking place. So we'll have to see what I can do. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, listening.
Hold on.
Enjoyed.
I have one thing I want to add here. So I want to give, I'm not giving a life update. You all know Lexi's pregnant, baby's coming in January. But I was reading this pregnancy book and there was a preposterous statement in here that I sent to Aaron that I want to read out loud to you guys.
Okay.
This guy basically, just his background, this guy was, first of all, this guy's a fucking idiot. If you guys in relationships are of the mindset that, like, you don't have to take care of shit at home or anything like that, grow the fuck up, all right? Clean your dog shit, clean the dishes, clean the floors, do some homemaking work. Plus, you get to make the home how you want it. But that's my little rant. But this guy, who's a douchebag, didn't do any of that. He's like, you should clean the dishes so your wife doesn't have to when she's pregnant. I'm just going to read an excerpt from this book. There's no reason to be taking pregnancy advice from this guy, but here I am. No, I'm not talking about the character from Gilligan's Island or NFL's best quarterback, Carson Wentz of the Philadelphia Eagles. Have a good weekend, guys. Let's go, week 1.
Let's go, week 1. Okay, it's the Stray J podcast. We will catch y'all next time.
Fucking Carson Wentz, NFL's best? Idiots.